How do everybody? So they say a week in politics is a long time. Well, my goodness, what a long time that we've had in this week already since I reported on the Ivor Kaplan case the other day. For those of you who don't know, and I will give only a very, very brief description, a gentleman by the name of Ivor Kaplan, who is an ex Labour minister who was involved in the Ministry of Defence during the times of Tony Blair, was arrested under suspicion of attempting to meet who he believed was a 15-year-old boy. That is alleged at this moment in time, but it was involving a paedophile hunter sting operation and was live streamed, I believe, on Facebook. I can't really comment any more on that. However, Ivor Kaplan since then has not really showered himself in much glory. I do not recommend visiting his Twitter page. Believe you me, it is an absolute car crash to behold. Basically, there is a small smattering of political messaging with, I would say, between 2/3 and 3/4 of his timeline being hardcore homosexual pornography. To be honest with you, I wouldn't care whether it was homosexual or heterosexual pornography. The fact that his timeline is just absolutely full of pornographic material and him offering to meet people for, and often using the phrase of "am bottom." For people who don't understand, that means that he is a socket and not a plug. Um, and he's often propositioning people to meet up, strangers, that is, random strangers. Very, very strange behaviour, and I do believe he's a man that has very, very few boundaries, that he sets off a lot of red flags in my mind. I will be honest, but that's just my personal opinion, and obviously that is not illegal for him to do that, but I do think it is certainly a very, very curious pattern of behaviour for somebody to engage in. On top of that, we've had Tulip Siddiq, a woman who's got Bangladeshi roots, who was in charge of corruption within the Labour Party. I can't remember the full name of the ministerial post, but it's something to do with being anti-corruption. She's become embroiled in a corruption scandal involving property that she owns, which she has received from her aunt, who is the longest-running political leader in Bangladesh. So I do find it rather strange that we do have somebody with connections to what is basically a Bangladeshi ruling dynasty, working in the inner parts of our governance in our country. I do think that there is a national security risk. That is my personal opinion, and I don't understand how that can be allowed to happen. But that is the situation we find ourselves living in currently in the United Kingdom, where people with connections to foreign powers are able to get into the highest offices of our own political system. Very, very strange. But to finalise it all as well, we do have the case of Rachel Reeves, who has not only gone to meet China to engage in a financial bargaining process, and she's come back with no more than about 500 million in deals over a 5 to 6 year period, which basically equates to nothing. But the country also seems to have been going into a recession, and we are only getting minimal growth. I think it's just been announced today that we may have about 2% of growth, which isn't very, very much. And there is also the scandal of Labour absolutely trying to press ahead with getting rid of I can't even remember the name of the islands off the top of my head. Basically, the islands that are going to Mauritius, and there is a US naval base on there. It just makes us look like absolute fools to the rest of the world. Very, very strange. Just Labour are not performing at all, and and here's the best part as well. Keir Starmer, our beloved Führer and the man who is in charge of our country and is ruling with an absolute iron fist and showing zero tolerance to any indigenous peoples of this island whatsoever. He has been snubbed by Donald Trump for Donald Trump's inauguration. This is very, very unusual, because I do believe that every single Prime Minister for at least the last 100 years has at least received an invitation to go to a presidential inauguration. So for him to just be completely snubbed like that shows the way that politics is going to be going between the UK and the USA. Not very good times. Now, do I think Donald Trump has got a hate for the United Kingdom? No, I don't, but I do think he seriously has misgivings towards Keir Starmer, especially with the fact that Keir Starmer did try to send 100 Labour activists over to the United States to campaign against him during the presidential election process. They have been trying to complain about Elon Musk interfering in British politics. Well, I'm afraid that the Labour Party themselves have done far more interference in US politics than what Elon Musk is doing over here. Shocking stuff. Not surprising, and I think as time goes on, we're going to see even more scandals happening. The Labour Party are an absolute shower of dog poo, and we are just heading for a really, really bad time in the near future. And we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Take care and goodbye.